Hello and welcome to our virtual service for June 13th, 2021. It is our celebration for Sunday and beyond. We have our artist in residence, Lee Coulter. We have Kurt Saxon as our practitioner. I want you to know that if you are watching this on June 13th, that this is our first live service in the sanctuary in our beautiful building. We've been working really hard and I'm so excited. Also, next Sunday, June 20th, is Father's Day. So we'll be doing some surprises here for the fathers, but certainly some things in our live service. So if you are in the neighborhood, please come by. So thank you again for being part of this. Settle in, let yourself become comfortable, and let's celebrate together.
I'm like a kid chasing the rainbow. The closer I get, the longer it takes. I run through the mazes of my mind and find life is a series of good mistakes. I sink like a stone to the bottom of the sea. Never been, has been, about to erupt. Watching the clock was once my enemy. Under the water looking up, but time won't let me down. 'Cause good things come and good things go, but the more I grow, the more I know that time is a friend of mine. Maybe the best and worst is yet to come. Maybe I'm drifting in between. There'll be a pain my threshold will never know. There'll be the sweetest love I've seen, and time won't let me down. 'Cause good things come and good things go, but the more I grow, the more I know that time is a friend of mine. That time is a friend of mine. Crashing through the Lego blocks, smashing all the matchbox bomb. Les Cole and Jesse back with spaghetti on the yum. Hey little girl, won't you revel in the world with eyes wide open? Yeah, don't you wanna say you did it when you're done? Man, I just wanna say I did it when I'm done. 'Cause good things come and good things go, but the more I grow, the more I know that time is a friend of mine. That time is a friend of mine. Away tomorrow, away the dark, and look at me, love, like at the start. Your heart and hold me, love, like we're apart. Hold me, love, like we're apart. Hold me, love, like we're apart. Wait tomorrow, wait the dark, and look at me like at the start. Let the moonlight steal your heart and hold me, love, like we're apart. 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 Hold me, love, like we're apart.
But I'd just like to welcome you all here. My name is Kurt. I'm your practitioner in service this morning, and just glad to see you all here. You know, our theme for the month is the path of pride. I just want to start off this morning with a prayer and just invite you to go within and recognizing that this present moment is all that there is. And that as we join together here this morning, that all that is unfolding is divinely guided through my words, through Lee's music, through Rev's talk, and for the interaction that we get to have here when we come together in this place of reverence and joy that we get to experience on Sundays, and that we carry with us into the week, knowing that we are divinely guided, that we are divine love, knowing that each of us is a blessing to ourselves, to our community, and to the world, and that we just carry that with us. And so I'm just truly grateful for this opportunity to be of service this morning, to see all of you, to experience this beautiful day, and to just come from a deep place of gratitude for my life and all of your lives, and the impact that we all have on each other, knowing that we're all spiritual beings having this human experience together. And so I just give thanks, and together we say, and so it is. So it's by Henry Norrie, and it's again on that idea of self-rejection and loving ourselves. And he says, self-rejection is the greatest enemy of the spiritual life because it contradicts the sacred voice that calls us the beloved. Being the beloved expresses the core truth of our existence, and so it is.
And so now I'd like you to join me in a welcoming meditation. I'd like to start out by sharing this reading by Kabir Hilmansky. Whoever makes all cares into a single care, the care for simply being present, will be relieved of all cares by presence, which is the creative power. And now I invite you to bring your awareness to this present moment and just relax your body and notice any feelings or sensations, and let go of anything that may be on your mind. Feel your heart beating. Feel the flow of your breath. Feel the presence that is living through you right now. Now bring your awareness to the most pressing matter in your life that may be painful, troubling, or upsetting you. It may be physical, emotional, or a life situation. And now I invite you to move it into your heart and hold it there and just be with it and thank it for being present. And now I invite you to say softly, welcome. Welcome to whatever may have shown up. Pain, fear, anger, sorrow. And now I invite you to just let it go and quietly repeat with me as I speak these words. I let go my desire for security and survival. I let go my desire for esteem and affection. I let go my desire for power and control. I let go my desire to change the situation. And so now I know this truth for each of us. You are loved. You are more than enough. You matter. And you are God's miracle. I'm grateful for this knowing, this truth, and for this present moment. And so it is.
In 1929, a young Jewish soap maker from Germany immigrated to the United States. He came to this country to escape the growing fascism which was beginning to inflame his own country. He practiced his trade, and in 1940, He established Dr. Bronner's Magic Castile soap, and we've all used it, right? I've been using that. I mean, all of us that are hippies have been using it, yes. I've used it to wash my dog, my car, laundry, my hands. In fact, this morning I washed my face with it. So why am I mentioning this man? Because if you've used his soap, you would have noticed that he had printed on the label Hillel's moral ABCs. And so this is the crux. Rabbi Hillel, he was born in Babylon, which is now Baghdad, around 110 BCE. When he was 40 years old, he moved to Jerusalem to study Torah. And because of his piety and his wisdom, it's really him who established the whole rabbinic system. He was the scholar of the Talmud. He taught prolifically. It is said that in the story of Jesus, when he was a young boy and left his parents to stay in the temple, and that whole story really is Rabbi Hillel. There's a story that Rabbi Hillel was approached one time and said, "Can you explain the entire Torah standing on one foot?" And he said, "That which is hateful to you, do not do to another." This is the whole Torah. Everything else is just simply commentary. Go and learn. But he also said something else that I think is the crux of this whole series that we'll be doing this month. He once said, "If I am not for myself, who will be for me? And being only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when?" So, a couple things that I want to sort of weave into this. The first is this. When we hear stories of Rabbi Hillel or any of the great teachers and avatars of the past, we're hearing legends, we're hearing myths, we're hearing stories. And what's important about a story is it gives us the opportunity to share a collective imagination. It gives us a way in which we can collectively dream the dream of the divine. So last week I spoke about Thich Nhat Hanh saying that the next Buddha would be the Sangha. So whatever spiritual tradition it is, the coming of the Christ, the coming of the next Buddha, the coming of the next prophet isn't so much going to be another individual, but that Christ consciousness, that nature of the Buddha, that living presence of the prophet comes from the community itself, the Sangha, because it's the collective consciousness that is beginning to evolve and grow. And this is why we dream the dream of the divine. But here's the deal. It's important that we are conscious of our own self, our own divinity, that presence of loving awareness, because it's only when we begin to realize our own sense of self and really our own sense of self-esteem that we begin to build this collective consciousness. And so this month we're focusing in on the path of pride. And really what this is, it's the path of knowing and appreciating and articulating our true nature. So Thomas Merton wrote that the quest for the true self is part of the quest to let God know who we really are. I want to go back to that reading that Kurt gave at the beginning of our service from Henri Nouwen, where he writes, "Self-rejection is the greatest enemy of spiritual life because it contradicts the sacred voice that calls us the beloved. Being the beloved expresses the core truth of our existence." So understanding being the beloved is the essence of who we are. It is the experience of living in grace. And as Paul Tillich says, grace is to accept that we are accepted, to know that we are loved, to live our life in the experience of knowing at the very core of our being that we are the beloved. So, here's an important question to sit with. At what state of consciousness are you creating your experience of reality? Is it a consciousness of fear? Or is it a consciousness of joy? Is it a consciousness of gratitude? Or is it a consciousness of lack? Because there is power in the consciousness, because it affects our perception. It activates what we've been talking about, the reticular activating system, which begins to filter the experiences and the things that we see, and that there's a vibratory level that draws to us those things that are familiar. So in a very real way, we are creating our experience of our reality from the consciousness that we are holding. And so I ask that question to you once again. At what state of consciousness are you creating your experience of reality? So Carlos Castaneda says this: we either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same. We either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same. Good old Carlos Castaneda. So because we share this collective imagination, because we are developing this collective consciousness, maybe it's time we give up seeking for common ground and make a commitment to meet on higher ground. And Dr. Holmes, the founder of our particular teaching, says it this way. He says, I am a center of divine consciousness within the vast whole. Or as Ram Dass says, I am loving awareness. So from that place, we're moving ourselves to this higher consciousness. Let us meet there. Beyond, as Tagore says, the fields of right or wrong, that place of high consciousness, of beingness, that's where we begin to meet. And so what I offer for you today is this practice for the week. And it's a simple practice. It comes from the poet John O'Donohue. And when he talks about, as far as when he talks about persons or beings, what I would say is this is relevant for our four-legged or our winged or, our plants or the beauty that surrounds us anywhere. Stay clear of those vexed in spirit. Learn to linger around someone of ease who feels they have all the time in the world. Gradually, you will return to yourself, having learned a new respect for your heart and the joy that dwells within slow time. So I think that it doesn't necessarily have to be someone else. It could be something else. It could be learning slow time from another species, four-legged, winged, scales, fins. It could come from the world of flowers, a forest, a tree, a garden. It can come from wherever we pause and breathe and return to wonder and awe. So my invitation is our spiritual practice this week is to practice slow time, to move to that place where we begin to respect our own heart. And so let us pray, knowing that there is a divine connection that exists within our true self and all creation and the Creator, uniting us all, loving us all, supporting us all and drawing us in to a world that is just, equitable, and sustainable for all life. May this be so. And so, dear friends, to those whom you love and those whom you receive love from, I wish you many, many blessings.
It's unlikely you know the story of precisely how we came to be. Chances are we'll never know the mystery of you and me. So let you walls down and meet me in the middle. We could live just a little if you could fit a little. Or let you walls down and meet me in the middle. We could love a little bit more. I'm not talking about desire, not talking about kumbaya. I don't require no campfire. No, I just wanna say hello to my fellow people while we share a smile. Hey, so let you walls down and meet me in the middle. We could live just a little if you could fit a little. Let you walls down and meet me in the middle. We could love a little bit more. Love a little bit more. Oh, I'm gonna love a little bit more. Let you walls down and meet me in the middle. We could love a little bit more. We could focus on our differences. We're talking in percentages. That DNA thing, we're just the same things. We might be worlds apart, but deep down in our hearts, you know we want the same things. We're just the same. Everybody's somebody's baby. Maybe, just maybe, someday we'll see that we may never ever know that mystery. Yeah, you and me. So let you walls down and meet me in the middle. We could live just a little if you could fit a little. Or let you walls down and meet me in the middle. We could love a little bit more. Love a little bit more. I'm gonna love a little bit more. Let you walls down and meet me in the middle. We could love a little bit more. Love a little bit more. I'm gonna love a little bit more. You can love a lot if it's what you've got. If not, just a little bit more. You can love a lot if it's what you got. If not, just a little bit more. Love a little bit more. Love a little bit more. And we'll live just a little bit more.
This is our time of conscious giving, tithing, conscious investment, however you want to look at it. But from the Rev's question today, the level of consciousness that we're living at, and this opportunity that we get, or I get, for me, is the opportunity to put in action that consciousness and to stretch myself. It took me a long time in the practitioner process to finally make peace with myself over the giving process. And when it finally hit me, it was pretty amazing because it became so simple. And it really is a outpouring of the consciousness that we get to hold. So I just invite you all, if you're giving today, just, what level of consciousness are we giving from? And is it an action that we're supporting that consciousness that we want to live from? And just trusting that, for me, trust and surrender in this process of being human is, one of the hardest, but also one of the most rewarding. And so that tithing, to me, that's what it means. So we get that opportunity, and in doing so, we get to support this amazing place, and the people and what it means to have a place to come to on Sunday or during the week for our classes and all of it. So if you're choosing to give today, I just invite you to hold that gift to your heart and just know that it's here to do good, and that holding that consciousness brings forth more than enough in our lives. Dolly said something to me, I have enough. And can we all look at that and say, we have enough, and can we give from a place that's even bigger than having enough? That's the way I give. That's the way I want to give from all the time. So if you're choosing to give, I thank you.
So with that, we just we take this moment to open our hearts in gratitude, breathing in this wonderful energy, slowing down to catch up with ourself, blessing this day, knowing it is from a consciousness of good, a consciousness of gratitude and faith and family and community that we are creating, that we are ascending to not the common ground, but the higher ground, and blessing it all. And so, my dear friends, to those whom you love and those whom you receive love from, all of us here at the Hilltop Center together wish each other many, many, many blessings, and so it is.
Doctors have come from distant cities just to see me. They stand over my bed, disbelieving what they're seeing. They say I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as they see, they can offer no explanation. Newspapers ask intimate questions, want confessions. They reach into my head to steal the glory of my story. They say I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as they see, they can offer no explanation. I believe fate, smiling, destiny, laughed as she came to my cradle. No, this child won't be able. Laughed as my body she lifted. I know this child will be gifted with love, with patience, and with faith. She'll make a way. She'll make a way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People see me, I'm a challenge to your balance. I'm over your heads, how I astound you and confound you to know I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as they see, they can offer me no explanation. I believe fate smiled and destiny laughed as she came to my cradle. No, this child won't be able. Laughed as she came to my mother. No, this child will not suffer. Laughed as my body she lifted. No, this child will be gifted with love, with patience, and with faith. She'll make a way. She'll make a way.